Stephanie Dobson is back with us here this week for another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator at Henke Divorce Law and Mediation here in Lloydminster. So Stephanie, today we're going to be talking about interests and positions in relation to negotiation between separating or divorcing couples. So let's start out by explaining exactly the basics. First of all, what's the difference between an interest and a position?
So this is an interesting one because it's quite legal speak. So I just really want to break it down because it's a very important concept as people are going through their separation or divorce negotiations. So very basically, our viewers can think of a position as a legal outcome. So it can also be seen as a demand. So an interest can be thought of that underlying reason why someone wants that particular interest. So if you think of the iceberg reference, the position is the tip of the iceberg and above the surface of the water, and the interest is that 90% of the rest of the why under the surface of the water.
Can you give us some examples, Stephanie, of position versus interest?
Sure. So I'll start out with the most classic example. So it's the example of the orange. So take, for example, there's one orange left in a box. There's two kids and they both say, I want an orange. I want this last orange. So this is their position. They want that orange. So for each kid to get what they want, stated based on their initial position, each of them is going to only get a maximum of 1/2 of that orange. We've got to divide it in two. But if they each needed the whole orange, then there's going to be a win-lose here, some kind of a compromise, and they're only going to get 1/2 of that orange. So if we go deeper and we look at their interests, we look at why does each of you want this orange? What's important to each of you? So we find out by digging deeper that one of the kids wants the orange rind to bake a cake and the zest. And then the other kid wants to make orange juice, so they want the juice of the orange. So in an interest-based solution, we can give one kid the juice of the full orange and the other kid the rind of the full orange. So by digging a little bit more into that why, we can actually achieve a win-win for each of the kids. But in the context of a separation or divorce, let's bring this home. So it might be someone saying, I want the family home, or I want 50-50 care of the children. So an interest would be the underlying. So with a home, someone might say, I want to stay living in the same neighborhood, or I want to minimize changes with our separation, or I want to not sell a house to lose money because the market's down. Or with the kids 50-50, you might say, I want a quality relationship with the kids, or I don't just want to be a weekend parent. I want to do day-to-day things and activities. Or I don't want to be replaced by a step parent or be forgotten about. So those are the underlying interests from that initial position that someone sets out.
So how would this concept be used then in negotiations between separating spouses?
So this is a negotiation technique where we dig for the why. It's called interest-based negotiations. And that's distinct from the what, so the demand, the positional bargaining. So interest-based negotiations is the foundation of negotiations in processes like collaborative divorce and mediation. So we dig for the interest, we find out the why, and then we craft resolution which meets everyone's interests and creates that win-win, right? They each get the part of the orange that they want. In positional bargaining, this is the basis of the court-based litigation model. This is what I want. Here's the reasons why I think I'm right. Here's why the other person is wrong. And then the judge decides who wins and who loses. So there might be a compromise, but in positional bargaining, there's a winner and a loser. So the difference in these negotiation styles is very stark, and it's not that there's a better or worse form of negotiations. In my practice, I only use interest-based negotiations to find those win-win solutions for families that I work with, and I use that within collaborative divorce and mediation processes.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, if people are looking for more information regarding this subject or any of the other ones that we've talked about during this time, what is the best resource kind of all in one place for them to find this?
Sure. So the best way to get in touch with us is to go to our website, henkadivorce.ca, Henka divorce.ca. On that website, we've got a contact form. We've got our phone number on there, which is 780-875-2234. And we've also newly introduced a live chat feature.
All right. Well, thank you again, Stephanie, and we will chat again next week.
Thanks for having me, Stacey.